everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to this beautiful last minute Valentine cards video ideas. These are beautiful and will take just few minutes of your time to create these beautiful handmade cards for your loved ones. So let's get started. So for the first card, I thought of painting some quirky birds, very cute, and we are going to use wet on wet technique for this one. We are going to start with water, and then I'm just going to create a slanting line upwards and then curving it and taking it back to the tail. So I've just mixed a little bit of yellow so that you can see the water that I'm putting. And then we are going to do the same on the other side. Use little generous water because we are using wet on wet technique. So it has to be nicely damp. Okay, now we are going to drop in some color. So first I'm going to start with a little bit of yellow on the top. And because it is wet on wet, it's going to blend very smoothly. You can use different combinations for both the birds, but I'm just for some ambience, some symmetry, I'm going to use the same kind of colors. But they are obviously going to spread in different ways. And then I'm going to drop in some pink at the bottom. And I'm just using very light strokes of brush. I'm not excessively dragging the color towards the yellow because it's automatically going to blend with that. And let me add a little more pigment. Till the time it is drying up, I'm going to use the same colors and paint some hearts. And paint some little tiny hearts on the top. It is completely dried up now, and let me zoom in and show how I'm going to doodle all of it. So I'm using a black gel pen. You can use any black sketch pen or a marker. I'm just going to outline these birds with this, not using a perfect stroke. So do not worry to be very perfect in this. Same way I'm going to do here. That's that. And now I'm going to add some tiny little beaks here. And just parallel to those to that beak, I'm going to add little tiny eye here. Same way here, I'm going to add tiny little line, tiny little eye. I'm going to add the wings, so just going to start from here and make a swirly line like that, and simply going to attach it here. It looks wingy and something like a rose. Same thing I'm going to do on the other side. Oh, it doesn't have to be the same. And let's add the little tiny legs, some quirky ones. So for this one, I'm going to actually make a straight line and then one like that. And I'm also going to make it a ziggled, a little tiny dot kind of feel that it has a knee, and just some little dark part here. So it shows the joint. And one leg I'll make a slanting one. The same way I'm going to add a little tiny knee as a dot, and I'm going to do something here. And for this one, I feel that I want to make one straight leg, maybe slanting. And then one, I want to make a curved one. Come here and then here. Let's add some little tiny feathery swirls on the back. So I'm going to start and make one here, one maybe here, and another one goes up like that. And that's our first and very cute lovebird Valentine's card. So for the next card, I want to paint a popcorn basket, but because it's Valentine's, so it's not going to actually pop the popcorns, but it is actually going to pop our tiny little cute hearts. Using the same pink that we used for the previous card, and I added a little bit of black and brown to make it a very vintagey color. I'm going to use this color and straight away start with a popcorn basket. So it is going to be somewhere here. So just using a slanting line like this, and same way on this side, and then I'm going to join it with a like that. I'm going to give the top of this basket with a curvy line like that. I'm going to do the stripes for this one. So first I'm going to just draw the stripes and then we will color it afterwards. And now we will color one and leave one. We can straight away jump to our tiny little hearts which are popping out, for which I will be using a bunch of colors. So I will be switching to red, pink, and even a little bit of yellow. It's too watery, so I'm going to add a little bit pigment. Let's paint one here. So you can mix, you can use different combinations, big and small hearts, light or dark, watery or dark consistency. Let me use this yellow here. Let me touch this yellow with the red so that it bleeds some color. Let's add this pink. So as you can see, this red is bleeding with this pink. These two are also bleeding with one another. So you can actually let them bleed into each other. It looks very nice effect. So I feel these are enough, and look how beautifully they are blending with one another. So there are different kinds, different shades of love in this popcorn box. I'm also feeling like adding one or two popcorns which have fell down the basket. So I'm just going to add one or two hearts at the bottom. So everything has dried up completely, and I'm going to use my black gel pen again to give some doodled effect on this. So I'm just going to use very broken lines, sketchy lines, to just outline the hearts. Be very loose and free. We do not want perfect shape for the hearts. Like that. And also I will be adding just little sketchy line for the rim of this popcorn box. Giving some lines on the stripes to give it even more sketchier look. You can even add some tiny little sketches of hearts wherever you see some spaces, just to give it a little fuller look and not overpowering the colors again. So you can absolutely do that as well. And you can write your text here. I'm going to leave it like that. That's a beautiful Valentine's card, and maybe it is "You Make My Heart Pop" card. So that's so cute. Onto the final card, and for this particular card we are actually going to paint some cutesy little loose watercolor bunnies. For this we are going to use some brown color. So you can mix any other color with it. Let me mix a little bit of yellow so that it becomes a little more warmer. So we are going to start with their head, which is going to be something like, we are going to start with a straight tiny line, and then we give a little hump and give a curve for their cheeks. So they have a very cheeky face, so we just need a little shape like that. Maybe a more kind of A line like that. So it's broader at the bottom and tinier on the top. And we are only going to connect it with a very fluffy body like that. And we are going to leave some negative space for their fluffy bumpy tail like that. So that's the basic simple shape for our bunny. And use lots of water, and I'm going to, while smudging this out, I'm going to leave some negative spaces because we want the some highlighted areas as well. So try to leave some negative spaces in your painting. It gives more rustic and more artistic look to the whole painting. So I'm just leaving some white areas near the neck like that. And simply we are going to add two very cute bunny ears. For that I'm using a simple stroke. I'm going to start from here and then press my brush against the paper to get a thicker line, and then I just slowly start lifting my brush by touching the head. So that's a very simple, and I'm going to make it a little fat from this side. And then let's move to the next one. So the next one, I'm going to start from the head, and I'm going to position my brush in a slanting line. I'm going to start from here and press my brush against the paper and just wiggle it and bring it down. So it gives a feel that the bunny's head is, bended. So that's that. And this particular white space is looking a little odd. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use water and just clean it a little bit and pick some color for the natural highlight. Let's move on to the next bunny. For that, I'm going to use the same tone, but I am going to add a little bit of red to it. So just giving a different tone of the brown. So the next bunny is also going to be the similar way, but we are just going to try and show that it is tilting towards this bunny. I'm going to drop in some color to give a darker effect here at the bottom, somewhere here near the neck as well. For this one as well, we are going to do the same. It can be different shapes, but the technique is the same. So I'm just going to start from here, then just change the direction and then press it on the paper and bring it down and touch the head. And this one looks a little dull, so I'm just going to add the same color, and I'm just going to drop in somewhere here and a little bit here. I'm going to add a little tiny heart on the top where, you know, they are just meeting up. So just a little tiny heart. Instead of getting these clear white spaces for the bunny's tail, I'm just going to use clean water and just smudge that color into the bunny's tail. I'm going to give a little some doodling effect on this card as well. So I'm just using the black gel pen. You can use any that you have, and I'm just lightly going to outline the heart with the broken line, of course. I also thought of adding a little tiny line at the bottom so it gives more effect that they are sitting on some romantic corner. So I'm just going to top it with a very light sketchy line. I'm using my pen 2-3 times, just giving a little sketchy look. And here's the final look of this card. Look how cute they look. I love these bunnies. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, then please do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. That means a lot to me, and I will see you guys in my next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.